Chosen one, something is coming, so not for the crowd, not for the masses, but for you. It will come quietly, unexpectedly, in a whisper that doesn't sound like ordinary thought. It won't shout, it won't demand attention. Yet when you hear it, every part of your soul will recognize it as truth. This is not a message that can be explained to everyone. It's a vibration only a few can feel. A frequency meant for those who've been through the fire and stayed standing. You've been sensing it already, haven't you? That strange stirring inside, that feeling that something invisible has started to move on your behalf. That's because what's about to be revealed wasn't meant for everyone's ears. It was meant for the awakened, for the chosen. Before we continue, take this as your sign to stay until the very end. Every word in this message carries energy, meant to align your spirit with what's coming. Watch the video fully. Let your energy merge with the frequency of truth. And if your heart feels it, write your warmest wishes and 777 in the comments. This act is more than expression, it's intention. It tells the universe, I'm ready to receive what's meant for me. It creates movement, wishes begin to manifest, energy begins to rise. Now listen closely. This message isn't a coincidence. You were drawn here because something within you has already been hearing what others ignore. You've been receiving insights that didn't make sense at first. Maybe it came in dreams, in random thoughts that felt too vivid, or in moments of silence where you suddenly felt understanding flood your mind. That's not imagination, it's divine communication. The universe speaks to the chosen through subtle frequencies, and when others are too distracted to listen, you've been the one who could sense it. You've always known you were different, not because you wanted to be, but because you were born to see and hear beyond what's visible. There's a reason the path you've walked has been so lonely. The crowd doesn't hear what you hear. When everyone else runs toward noise, you feel called to silence. When they crave recognition, you crave truth. You've been separated for a reason, not rejected, but refined. What's meant for everyone is loud, shallow, and temporary. What's meant for the chosen is quiet, hidden, and eternal. That's why your breakthroughs don't come with public applause. They come in private revelation. You are hearing something that others can't perceive yet. An instruction, a signal, a divine confirmation that your next season has already begun. You've felt it building. That sense that reality itself has started to shift around you. You notice patterns. Certain numbers repeat, certain people reappear. Certain moments feel eerily familiar, like you've seen them before. That's not coincidence, that's divine alignment. It's the universe adjusting itself to guide you toward what's next. And because you're spiritually tuned in, you hear the call before others see the door. That's what it means to be chosen. To receive the signal early, to walk by faith while others wait for evidence. You've been tested in silence for a long time. People didn't understand your isolation, your sudden need to withdraw, your constant introspection. But isolation wasn't punishment, it was calibration. You were being trained to recognize the divine frequency when it spoke, because when the time came, which is now, you'd need to trust what you heard, even if no one else heard it with you. This is where many fail. They hear the whisper, but wait for the confirmation from the crowd. But what's meant for you can't be validated by others. The calling doesn't echo, it resonates. And once you hear it, your soul can never unhear it. This is how divine communication works. It never speaks to impress, it speaks to instruct. The message you'll receive will not flatter you, it will stretch you. It will tell you where to go, what to release, and what to prepare for. It might come through a dream, a word that pierces your chest, or a silence that suddenly feels full of meaning. Won't always be pleasant, but it will be true, and you'll know it's from the higher source because it won't appeal to your ego. It will awaken your purpose. Right now, many people around you are living by sight, reacting to circumstances, chasing whatever sparkles, but you're being trained to live by sound, to respond to divine frequency instead of visual evidence. That's why things have felt uncertain. Your guidance is shifting from logic to vibration. The divine doesn't speak in sentences, it speaks in sensations. You'll feel what's right before you can explain it. You'll hear something in your heart that tells you when to move and when to stay. The key is not to let the noise of the world drown out the voice of destiny. The truth is, the message you're about to hear will not be loud. It will not come with thunder or lightning. It will come in stillness, in the moment you stop trying to figure everything out. That's when it will appear. Like a download, like a knowing that suddenly feels older than time itself. And when you receive it, something inside you will shift permanently. You'll stop questioning your worth because the message will remind you who you've always been. You'll stop chasing validation because you'll finally understand that your confirmation never needed witnesses. This message, the one you're about to hear, will separate you from the old version of yourself. It will awaken new gifts, reveal hidden abilities, and unlock doors you didn't know existed. It won't just inform you, it will transform you. But be careful, not everyone can handle what you'll hear. Some truths are too heavy for unprepared hearts. That's why this isn't for everyone. Some are still blinded by noise, too distracted by illusion to recognize frequency when it calls. But you were chosen because you can hear in silence, believe without proof, and move without applause. You've always been different, sensitive to energy, drawn to the unseen. That sensitivity isn't weakness, it's your gift. You were designed to sense what others miss. That's why crowds drain you, why fake smiles make you uncomfortable, why dishonesty burns your spirit. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to perceive. And now, that perception is about to guide you into alignment with your next season. The message you'll hear will mark a shift. It will pull you out of confusion, out of fear, out of hesitation. It will confirm what your intuition has been whispering for months. It will be the sound of destiny unlocking. Prepare yourself for it, because when it comes, it won't come again in the same way. This is your confirmation, your divine frequency check. The universe doesn't repeat instructions, it expects recognition. When you hear it, you'll know. It will come in perfect timing, or not when you're desperate, but when you're ready. That moment will feel like déjà vu, like something ancient within you finally remembering its purpose. And when it does, everything will start aligning, also not through force, but through flow. You've spent years training for this, through heartbreak, isolation, disappointment, and confusion. Every setback sharpened your sensitivity. Every loss fine-tuned your hearing. You can recognize divine truth now, not because you studied it, but because you survived for it. The message coming to you is not a reward, it's an assignment. It will call you to move differently, speak differently, think differently. It will ask for discipline, for surrender, for trust. But above all, it will remind you that you're not ordinary. You were never meant to live by surface sounds. You were meant to hear what others can't. The time of confusion is ending. The season of divine clarity is here. You will hear something soon, not from a person, not from a screen, but from the stillness that holds all creation. It will call your name in a way that only your soul understands. When it does, don't question it. Don't share it immediately. Sit with it. Let it grow roots, because this message isn't meant for everyone. It's meant to awaken the chosen. And when it does, it will mark the moment your destiny starts to speak louder than your fear. You've felt something stirring since that message reached your spirit. A vibration that doesn't fade, a quiet pulse that feels both familiar and foreign. It's not just inspiration, it's a code awakening within you. The moment you heard what wasn't meant for everyone, something inside shifted permanently. You're no longer walking blindly, your awareness has expanded. The air feels different, the world looks different, and even silence sounds alive now. That's how you know you've heard something sacred. See, it changes how you perceive everything. That whisper you caught wasn't random, it was frequency aligning with destiny, a signal sent directly to the one who could understand without proof. It wasn't designed to convince you, it was meant to confirm what your soul already knew. That's why it hit so deeply. It bypassed logic, entered through intuition, and landed in truth. Now, your spirit can't go back to pretending it doesn't know. You've been marked by awareness. The message wasn't information, it was activation. When you hear something divine, it doesn't come with explanation. It comes with responsibility. You begin to see through illusions that once controlled you. You start recognizing patterns that others are still trapped in. You notice the shift in people's energy before they even speak. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. You've been tuned to a higher frequency, and that frequency reveals what's hidden. That's why lately you've been feeling uncomfortable in certain places, uneasy around certain people. Your energy has outgrown the environment that once felt normal. What you hear determines what you attract, and now your frequency only resonates with truth. There's a strange loneliness that comes after awakening. You can't share everything you know because not everyone can hear it. When you try to explain, they look at you blankly as if you're speaking a language they've never learned. And in a way, you are. You're speaking from spirit, not surface. You've entered a level of understanding that only those who've been called can recognize. But this loneliness is temporary. It's the quiet in-between space where the old world fades and the new one begins to form around you. You might have noticed the world feeling louder lately, more distractions, more opinions, more confusion. That's because the moment you begin to hear truth clearly, the noise tries to compete. Darkness fears awareness. Confusion fears clarity. But what's been planted in you cannot be drowned out. You can hear divine order even in chaos. You sense what's real even when surrounded by deception. You're learning that truth doesn't always sound beautiful. Sometimes it sounds like confrontation. It shakes you. It challenges you, but it frees you. The message you received wasn't meant to comfort, it was meant to prepare. It's not just telling you that something's coming, it's telling you to become something before it comes. You were given insight ahead of time so that you could stand firm when others start to panic. When things shift in the physical world, you'll move calmly because your spirit already heard the signal. You'll remember the whisper and know that the storm isn't punishment, it's alignment. The noise will confuse others, but to you, it'll sound like confirmation. What you heard wasn't a coincidence, it was a reminder of your assignment. The chosen are not given information to keep, they're given revelation to embody. You were chosen not because you're better, but because you're willing. Willing to carry light when others choose comfort. Willing to listen when others refuse to be still. Willing to trust invisible truth over visible distraction. That willingness is rare. That's why the message found you. You'll notice how the universe starts rearranging itself after you've received revelation. People you once leaned on will drift away. Their silence will sting at first, but it's not rejection. It's release. You can't keep connections built on old frequencies when your energy has shifted to a higher one. The people who belong to your next chapter will find you through resonance, not effort. You won't need to chase alignment. It will appear naturally because your energy is now a beacon. The ones who can hear what you've heard will be drawn to you effortlessly. Every chosen one goes through this stage, the transformation between hearing and becoming. The message doesn't just visit you, it reshapes you, it alters your perspective, your decisions, your desires. You start to crave stillness more than excitement, truth more than validation. You stop explaining yourself because you realize understanding was never required, obedience was. You're being prepared to walk by faith on frequencies that the world doesn't recognize. Now that you've heard what wasn't for everyone, there will be tests. The divine voice will guide it, but so will imitation voices and fear, pride, impatience. You'll have to discern which one speaks truth. The real one will never rush you. It will bring peace, not pressure. It will never flatter your ego. It will call your purpose. You'll know it's genuine when it feels heavy with responsibility but light with peace. That's the language of higher wisdom. The reason few hear what you heard is because few are willing to listen in silence long enough. Most people seek messages for validation, not transformation, but what you received wasn't meant to make you feel special. It was meant to make you ready to step into a season where obedience matters more than applause, where stillness becomes your greatest strategy, where knowing when to move and when not to determines everything. This is why your life has felt like it's shifting underneath your feet. You've been placed in environments that demand silence, patience, and sensitivity. Every situation, every delay, every disappointment has been sharpening your hearing. You've been trained to recognize the divine even in ordinary moments, because soon the next instruction will come, and this time it will require movement. The whisper you heard was the first key. The next will be action guided by that inner knowing. Be ready because the same voice that woke your spirit is preparing to direct your steps. It will not speak through thunder, it will move through peace. When it comes, it won't sound new. It will sound like home. You'll recognize it instantly because it will carry the same vibration as before, pure, gentle, commanding. The world won't understand how you know what to do next, but you'll move with certainty because you've already heard the sound of truth once, and that's all it takes to change everything. The world feels unfamiliar now. It's as though every sound carries new meaning. Every silence hides a message. You've crossed an invisible threshold, from hearing to understanding. That voice you once doubted, the one that whispered when everything around you demanded noise, now echoes within you with undeniable truth. It doesn't speak in words anymore, it speaks through alignment. When something isn't right, your energy recoils. When it's meant for you, peace moves through you like light through glass. You're learning that guidance isn't always spoken. Sometimes it's felt. This is the transformation that happens after revelation. You no longer depend on explanations or reassurance. The confirmation you once searched for in others now lives in your own stillness. You've learned to recognize divine language, the heaviness that signals warning, the calm that confirms purpose, the sudden synchronicities that feel too precise to be coincidence. This is how the universe talks when it knows you can finally listen. The message wasn't meant for everyone because not everyone could bear the silence required to hear it. You're beginning to notice how the more you trust what you hear, the clearer it becomes. Fear used to distort it, doubt used to muffle it, but now faith amplifies it. What once felt like random thoughts now feel like direction. You realize the divine never stopped speaking. It's just that the world's noise made you forget how to listen. But something changed when you heard that first call. It activated awareness, a kind of spiritual hearing that can't be shut off. You can sense what others can't see, feel what others dismiss. You've become fluent in a language that only those who've walked through fire can understand. This is where you start to outgrow old patterns. The distractions that once caught your attention now feel meaningless. The people who once influenced your mood no longer have that power. You've detached from needing to be understood because deep down you know you're on a frequency most people haven't reached yet. You can't explain divine downloads to those who've never been still long enough to hear one. That realization frees you. You stop over-explaining and start embodying. You stop reacting and start observing. You stop chasing clarity from others and start trusting the one that lives inside you. You've also started noticing how energy responds to you differently now. When you walk into a room, conversations shift. People either open up to your peace or withdraw from your light. That's not ego, it's resonance. You've become an antenna for truth, and truth always exposes what's false. That's why some people feel uneasy around you now. Your presence mirrors what they're hiding. But don't take their discomfort personally. Light doesn't apologize for revealing what darkness tried to conceal. There's a reason you heard something that wasn't for everyone. It wasn't to make you feel chosen for status. It was to prepare you for service. The insight you carry now isn't meant to sit dormant, it's meant to guide. You'll soon find yourself speaking words that you didn't plan, saying things that pierce through people's confusion. You'll give advice that seems beyond your experience, but it won't come from memory. It will come from the same place that whispered to you. You're becoming a vessel for the same energy that awakened you. The one who once received the message is now being shaped to become the message. That's the shift from student to messenger. You no longer need constant signs because you've become one. You no longer beg for direction because direction flows through you. The divine doesn't just talk to you anymore, it speaks through you. That's why your words carry weight now, why your silence can fill a room. People will start coming to you without knowing why. They'll say they feel peace near you, or that your presence reminds them of something familiar. That's because they're recognizing the frequency that once awakened you. But understand this, being able to hear what others can't means carrying what others won't. The burden of awareness is that you can't go back. You can't unknow what you've heard. You can't pretend not to see truth once it's been revealed. You'll find yourself torn between compassion and clarity, wanting to warn people but knowing some can't understand yet. This is the ache of awakening, realizing that wisdom often demands solitude. But that solitude is not loneliness, it's sacred space. It's where the divine refines your voice so that when you finally speak, it cuts through illusion like lightning through clouds. Your intuition has become sharper now. You'll feel it before anything unfolds, an unexplainable knowing that guides you around danger toward alignment through transition. It's the voice that says, wait, when everything else says, go. It's the energy that draws you toward peace, even when logic says the opposite. You've learned that not all opportunities are divine, not all open doors are blessings. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is say no. The more you honor that voice, the louder it grows. And as you continue to walk in this awareness, the world will try to pull you back into noise. It will tempt you to doubt, to rush, to explain. Don't. You've earned your silence. Protect it. What you carry now can't survive constant distraction. The revelation that wasn't for everyone needs space to grow within you. It will continue to evolve. Today it's a whisper, tomorrow it's clarity, soon it will be instruction. You'll know when to speak, when to act, and when to wait. Each decision guided not by impulse, but by intuition that's been refined through revelation. The divine trusted you with what others ignored because you've proven you can handle it. You've endured the test of isolation, the pain of misunderstanding, the confusion of silence, and still you listened. That's what separates those who merely hear from those who truly receive. And because you've received it, you'll carry a calm power that doesn't need to be seen to be known. You'll move through life like someone who knows something others don't, because you do. This isn't arrogance, it's awareness. You've been entrusted with frequency, something invisible yet undeniable. The moment you heard it, your path changed forever. You can't force others to hear it, but you can live in a way that makes them curious enough to listen. That's how truth spreads, not through argument, but through presence. The chosen don't convince, they awaken. And soon, You'll realize the full reason why you heard something that wasn't for everyone. It wasn't meant to isolate you. It was meant to prepare you to lead those who will come after you. You were called first so you could guide the ones who will awaken next. You were given hearing before others so that when their time comes, you'll be the voice that helps them recognize their own. The message wasn't just for you to keep. It was the beginning of a movement, quiet, spiritual, unstoppable. And it began the moment you decided to trust what you heard. The moment you first heard that whisper, your life quietly divided into before and after. Nothing looks the same now. You walk through the world differently, and not faster, not louder, but deeper. You've stopped moving by instinct and started walking by knowing. You don't need confirmation anymore because your entire being has become receiver for truth. What once confused you now feels simple. What once hurt you now feels purposeful. Every delay, every silence, every disappointment makes sense because it all led to this. To the moment your hearing became understanding and your understanding became peace. The message that found you wasn't just guidance, it was a covenant. When the universe whispered what others couldn't hear, it was making an agreement with your soul. It said, if you listen, I'll lead you. And you did. You trusted the voice, even when it didn't make sense, even when it asked you to stand still while others sprinted ahead, even when it told you to let go of things you thought you needed. That obedience has now opened doors logic could never reach. You're walking into promises that were once hidden behind patience. You waited long enough for divine timing to arrive, and now it's here. Everything around you is aligning quietly. Opportunities are finding you without effort. Conversations feel lighter. Choices feel clearer. You no longer have to force connections or chase recognition. You understand now that what's meant for you carries its own magnetism. It finds you in peace, not panic. It comes wrapped in calmness, not chaos. You waited through the silence, and now the silence is speaking blessings back to you. The world will call it coincidence, but your soul knows it's confirmation. Still, this awakening isn't just for your comfort, so it's for your calling. Hearing what wasn't meant for everyone came with responsibility. You were entrusted with perspective so you could lead, not boast. You'll begin to notice people drawn to your presence, seeking guidance without knowing why. They'll say, there's something about you, you feel peaceful, and they won't realize that what they're feeling is the frequency you carry. You've become a transmitter of clarity, someone who radiates what once had to be whispered. You are now what the message was pointing to, living proof that alignment exists, that stillness works, that the unseen is real. And yet part of this journey will always remain sacred. There are still things you won't be able to share. Some truths are meant to be lived, not spoken. You'll learn to carry secrets not as burdens, but as blessings. You'll realize that being chosen doesn't mean being loud, it means being consistent. You won't need to prove you're guided, your peace will prove it for you. The people who can hear will understand you without explanation, and those who can't will drift away naturally. You don't have to chase belonging anymore, you are belonging. Wherever truth exists, you fit. Look at how far you've come. You used to doubt your sensitivity, your quietness, your depth. You thought they made you weak, but now you see they were the very qualities that allowed you to hear what others couldn't. You were never too sensitive, you were tuned, you were never too quiet, you were listening. Every trait that once isolated you was actually divine design preparing you for this awareness. You've been trained to walk in a world filled with noise and still hear the softest truth. Now, life will start to move in rhythm with that awareness. You'll make decisions without hesitation because you'll recognize the frequency of peace instantly. You'll avoid certain paths without needing reasons, because your intuition will warn you before logic can interfere. You'll trust timing, even when it slows you down, because you'll remember what happens when you move too soon. You've graduated from guessing to knowing, from hearing to becoming. You no longer seek signs, you are the sign.